beautiful divine masculine and feminine darlings. This is the Seraphim Jam Gypsy. SeraFae Indigo Emerald Empress and Shiloh Horizon. And I don't plan to be here for too long, but let's see how long this takes. That could change. I'm currently... Get out of there. I'm currently making a candle really quickly. That's a pack full. But I do have some things to share. Also a reading to do. You know what? I think if I do this, that'll be better. Stay right there. All right. Somebody says, what are you doing? Trying to get this wick to be stationed right in the center. And I just did, so that's that. Somebody says, now what are you doing? Now I'm pouring the melted wax in so I can let it set. Somebody says, I didn't know you made candles. Yeah, I've been doing this since high school, actually. I heard that. Who taught you? I taught myself. When? In high school? Good questions, though. I have answers for you. Give me just a second. I have 2 more little jars of wax to pour, and I'm all set. Heard that. I want to see. I'll show you. Give me a second. Maybe I should have done this before coming live, but it's okay. One more. When the candles get too low to burn on their own, but there's still a bit of wax in the bottom, I'll save them. And then when I have a couple of them, I'll make a new candle, even if it's just a partial. I'll just put in a new wick, reuse the old jar, and call it good for now. Now it'll set. Ta-da! I do still have a couple here. But I also wanted to get rid of those jars because I was running out of room. So now they're all in one. Ta-da! Problem solved. You know what? I'm going to go with it. I didn't mean to grab this deck, but absent-mindedly, this is where I went. You know what? That's a little bit wet. Not anymore. So here. inner's eye. So there's a call for energetic protection and grounding. Somebody that you booted out of the family, possibly an ex or their family. Yeah, who wanted to cloak themselves, but it's not a secret. Yeah, see, look, it's not a secret. They cannot cloak themselves. They wanted to be hidden, they're not. Somebody jealous, body envy, and because of their jealousy, possibly because of your figure, or mine, also your intellect, your creativity. Well, speaking of, I just made a candle in front of you, trying to target an air sign, or somebody who thinks that they can target people because they think they're smarter, or in some cases, this is an air sign attacking another air sign because they think that it's a competition or a level competition or something weird. These people are weird. Narcissism 101. And they want us to be quiet because they want people to listen to them, or they don't want people to know what they've done. That's too bad. Okay, I'm pretty done with this deck. But you did see me pull some cards last night, and I didn't read them. I was called to pull them last night, but after I pulled them, I was told to wait. I do have a few other decks to pull, but let's go through those. Dodgy neighbors. Know when to walk away and know when to run. Cherish yourself. Make an effort. Prioritize self-care. Immediate action. I keep hearing creativity. New opportunities. Career. Okay, so there's something about either getting back into a career or expanding. For some, this may be a career in the justice system, or others, if you have people unjustly interfering with your work and career, that's being stopped. Justice is being served there in that regard. Yeah, there it is, the scales. Focus on bringing more balance into your life. Seek comfort in those who are close to your heart. Now is the perfect time to turn your wish into a reality. Keep your door open to new experiences. Set fire to your fear and it will spark growth. And guard yourself against negativity. Oh, well, that makes sense. I didn't even look at these, but that title bar says gratitude, doesn't it? I heard it, so I placed it there. Also, these kind of look like lupins a little bit. They're not, they're trees. They do kind of look like lupins. Try not to compare yourself to others. The path is yours, and the relief you're seeking is already within you. So, there's an emphasis here on, wow, look. Keep your door open to new experiences. There's an emphasis on self-care, but also self-belief, overcoming obstacles. Look at the big picture before you react. Here also, is it worth the energy expansion? Through honest expression, you can create new connections. It's like sharing the truth in your story as well. Ah, okay, and what did I just make? Now is the time to share your light with others. Also, at the end of the gratitude, in the title bar, it's hashtag gratitude, but there's a fire symbol, isn't there? Yeah, that's because I just made a candle. Embrace the sense of belonging. You are loved, right? So even in the coldest of environments, there's still this pink door, heart, moving through, even up towards the roof here. So from crown rather to root, there is love here, right? There's love in the heart chakra, but there's also feelings of safety and security in this love connection, but it's also a mental space. It's not just in the emotional space, and there's a reference of getting out of your head and into your heart, but also when you're thinking from a space of love as well, you can kind of have it both ways in that regard. You're growing into the person you're meant to be. Seek out the bright sparkle of optimism. Look at this gem. Come here, baby. Why is it not wanting to register? That's very strange. There you go. The stars and the sparkle. You're safe to create a life that feels right to you. Also, be the lighthouse. And if you have to separate yourself like a little lighthouse on an island from people, just to bring yourself some peace away from the chaos and the toxicity, then so be it. Right? I don't want people in my house that make me have to sage afterwards or around me. Don't give up hope. What you want may be closer than you think. This could be a love connection for some. This is overcoming whatever challenge or obstacle is there for others. This is the closure of hostage situations. This is moving into a home for some. This is establishing a sense of safety and security and family dynamic. This is taking your power back, for starters. And then again, overcoming obstacles. Hot air balloon. Also getting rid of these airheaded karmics. Being able to rise above through a space of love. I'm also hearing something about protection and the level of trust that divine feminine has or will have and have established within the divine masculine. You look. Shine a light on what's working well for you today. And now is the time to discover and explore who you really are. I'm also picking up them bonding and really learning each other or spending more time together. Make time to sit with difficult feelings. So it's okay to process if you need to cry, if something is upsetting, heal it out. But this was also in reverse, and I'm not reading reversals, I wasn't, but this did catch my attention in reverse. So it's stepping out of this energy. I always tell you, it's okay not to feel okay. Don't choke your emotions down and then allow them to explode like Vesuvius, but it's not where we're going to stay. It's okay not to feel okay. But it's not where we're going to stay. Embrace the creativity you have within you. It's funny, I'm just getting ready to redo my nails again in a while. I don't know if I'll do it today or tomorrow, but I will. Come home to yourself. Let's start at the back. Remember to practice self-love. Throne, your potential is endless. This is also like the Empress energy who can embody a multitude of dynamics. You've got the Alchemist in the center. You've got the Queen. You've got also the Mermaid. It is a time for healing, not war, right? So there's a level of protection. Do it for you. Sundress. You already have all the answers. So it's knowing, look, the Mermaid, what you need to do, where you need to go to overcome these cycles. She's got feathers in her hair. This is giving Native American energy, actually. Also, even the skirt. There's a moon around her neck. Right, moon around her neck like starseed. We are all just stardust. You deserve sugar, not salt. So don't have to deal with these salty karmics, and you don't have to seek anyone's approval. Slow down and celebrate yourself, even if they don't. Take yourself out on a date. Endings are inevitable. It's okay to allow these old cycles to close. Come home to yourself, right? Like, I'd rather be alone with the cats than around these toxic people. I heard that what is it? Hair tied, sweatpants, chilling with no makeup on. The other day I said something like, I need to go put on different pants. And there was nothing wrong with the pants that I was wearing, except for they weren't pajamas. And I wanted something different. I was home and I didn't want the clothes I'd been wearing out and about all day on anymore. I put on something more comfortable. That also didn't have all the outside on it. Toss that in the wash. All right, power. I mentioned this in the last reading, I believe. Something about taking your power back is what I picked up. And we're also happy full moon today. In this full moon energy, it's all about releasing old cycles, people, situations, and elevating, rising above those old situations and dynamics, because now you know better. Now we know better. So when you know better, we do better. We can also do some affirmations, manifesting. I'll hold some space to do that if you want. If not now, then we'll come back later. And there's also a reference of integrity here. And so by holding this, this is why these manifestations are coming through. The karmics who thought that they were going to be nasty and grimy and lie and cheat and steal and try to copycat while doing things that we wouldn't do, which is not actually succeeding in copying, those people are in trouble. They're catching karma right now. Those of us who stayed in alignment, those of us who did the right thing, even if it was difficult, even when it was difficult, even if it was lonely or scary or tiresome and hard, we knew the payoff was worth it. Even if it's just that we can live with ourselves and sleep at night knowing our consciences are clean. Those of us who stayed in this state of alignment, no matter what they did and said, no matter what daggers or bullets or anything else that they threw, we're getting dharma now. They're in the same old cycles and loops. They've tried to just re-inflict them on other people, to drag people back in the same old toxicity with them, because their misery and their loserness desperately wants company, but they're going to take that L alone. And we're going to move up with our W's. They cannot ride our coattails. Heard, Russ. There's no way y'all are fucking up my limelight. Nope. Hindsight. I was right all along. Okay? Okay, well, there's that. So, that was what I picked up. I also heard that song. Which one is that? Sore Losers? Maybe Exposed. It's either Sore Losers or Exposed by Russ. Both are great. So, I think it's Sore Losers. Okay. So let us see. I was also... Oh, wait. Wasn't there another deck? I should have grabbed that. I forget now. Oh, no. I see it. Thank you. Excuse me. Team meeting. This morning I got a vision of a deck, and I don't use it very often. Oh, it's over here, actually. But I forgot to get it out earlier, and I was just remembering that there was a deck I was supposed to pull out, but I didn't remember which one it was, because it was a vision I got this morning while I was in the shower or the bath. But that whole little conversation was just a recap. Suddenly they put it right in the center of my forehead again. So, here we go. Thank you for that, by the way. Ask and you shall receive. Isn't it usually over here? Is it over here? Yeah, there it is. And I heard that also. Yeah, wow, like out of 500 decks or so, that was definitely the angels. Yeah, that's why I couldn't remember which one it was. And it didn't come from me, it came through me. So they sent it through again when I was perplexed and trying to recall what they were talking about this morning. Here it is. It's this cute little short and sweet one. It's like a pocket deck. I love this one. Don't use it very often though. What do you want us to know? This is the sign, okay? So if you were looking for a sign, choose a new direction, right? Moving in You can choose the old karmic path, South Node, or you can choose to elevate and move into your destiny, your life purpose. North Node, here's the full moon. We're shifting out of an old cycle. We can grow by using the information. Right now you know better, so we're doing better. Use that wisdom to move out, up and elevate instead of repeating the same old cycle. We're not starting from scratch. We're starting from experience this time. You got it. So it's like we worked on this giving new moon energy. We worked on building with the new moons and manifesting. This is also to release any blocks that are holding you back from those manifestations. But this is also saying that as you release things that are not meant for you or people that are not meant for you through this full moon cycle, which by the way, I got a download about this an hour ago too while doing the dishes. In the reading last night, there was the Mercury retrograde card that came out, and all these exes and like people who've got crushes and people trying to come back from the past, especially that are no good for us. I know I can resonate with that. That energy of Mercury retrograde is very similar to full moon energy, and I often tell people when teaching about the Mercury retrogrades that the concept of releasing, being mindful about, things coming up, not to stay in your life, right? People coming back that aren't good for you isn't necessarily a synchronicity or a message or a meaning that they should stay in your life, right? Especially when they're trying to insert themselves intentionally. But an opportunity to see it for what it is and release the person, place, situation, pattern, thought process, programming, etc., instead of repeat that cycle. It's like, did you learn your lesson or are you going to have to repeat it? So basically, the Mercury retrogrades are the way that psychic abilities can be enhanced, the way that it's a big time for past cycles or lessons to come back up, for you to, you know how you go through school and you study, you keep studying the same material, and then you get to the end of either a chapter of the book or the teaching and you do a test on it, a quiz on it, or you get to the end of the semester or season and then you do your finals. It's like that. So it's like final tests. You have all the answers. That came out. You know. So apply it, right? Full moon energy, releasing, full moon energy, acknowledging old cycles, full moon energy, tapping into psychic abilities. People often are more in touch with their different gifts. Possibly the dreams are more vivid and active during these times. But that same energy is very Mercury retrograde based, okay? So imagine a few week cycle of a Mercury retrograde, basically an extended full moon period. It's just a longer cycle of those situations to test you popping up. Also, there are shadow periods before and after. I usually feel them coming. Meaning you feel the effects a little bit before the actual retrograde and then after, often for at least a few weeks, maybe a week, a few weeks or more, depending on how intense these particular retrogrades are. But it's usually a few week time cycle where you can, right, like it's on average about a 3-day cycle. That's the most strong. The full moon is the strongest, and then the day before, and then the day after. It's kind of like a mini shadow period. But imagine instead of a 3-day cycle, like the full moon, and then the day before the full moon, and then the day after the full moon, you've got like a 3-week cycle for Mercury retrograde. So the few weeks of Mercury retrograde, a few weeks before that you feel like coming, and then a few weeks after. It's that kind of a thing. And so you can use it if you know how to tap into this to, sometimes people go into introvert mode to really tap in and spend time with themselves, process and what have you. It's one of those. It's a time for you to really even rest if you need to, things slow down. It's so that you can address them and clear them out once and for all. And so it's that also. I picked up the Mercury retrograde card yesterday, but the next retrograde isn't until July, I think. It was maybe July 17th, if I recall. because I did check the calendar. And so what it was indicating was that same energy, toxic people trying to come up to test you, tapping into your gifts, spending time nurturing yourself, rest if you need to, self-care, catch up on certain things, whatever you would use that full moon period for on a positive note, manifesting. Now you've got just a few extra weeks to do it during the Mercury retrograde cycles. But in this case, because those energies are the same, it's indicating all those old cycles or those types of energy from a Mercury retrograde playing out during this full moon. And so as this new moon, we're in a full moon cycle right now, today, but as this next new moon, as this full moon wanes, and the next new moon gets closer, the things that you're releasing now will, to open up your ability to reach those manifestations, they will continue to, new moon is about manifesting typically, right? Opening new beginnings and expansion, and then new doorways, keeping your door open to new opportunities. That card came out. Here it is. This is a cycle. There's a huge emphasis on this, and I don't often pick it up this way. So I'm taking the extra time to break it down. There's a huge energy emphasis right now on being able to manifest. So like I said, typically speaking, a full moon would be about releasing. But as this new moon cycle opens up, it's pushing these manifestations forward. So right now is actually technically also a good time to manifest, because what we're releasing are the blockages to those manifestations. Similarly speaking, towards this next new moon, again, it's all about new beginnings, but it's also about shedding the last of those old cycles. And so they're blending together this time and balancing each other out. But I'm also picking up that's on a cross note, the dynamic. No, let's clear that energy out. There's something crown and ear and like throat chakra attacks. I feel it. Third eye. This is the twin flame energy also coming through, like soul merging energy, the ability to balance each other as well. Hola, mi amigo. Yeah, see, it's all about moving in a new direction, get more information, just keep going. But it's about seeing things clearly and choosing North Node. Choosing to release anything keeping you from your destiny. I'm also including anxieties or fears, or being able to move, being willing and able to move through them. As somebody says, well, how do you do it? You know, I'd be so anxious to do it. You know what? In a lot of cases, people step up and do whatever it is that they're doing with anxiety. Like I've heard people speak about this before. They speak to somebody who has a stage presence or a public persona, and they say, I would be so anxious to get up there and do what you're doing on stage, as if the person who's getting up there and doing whatever they're doing on stage isn't sometimes anxious, or always even anxious, even just for a time. Maybe it's just like right before a show they get anxious, and then they kind of clear through the jitters or whatever as they're performing or as they're speaking. But if they waited until they weren't anxious to get up there, they'd never get up there in the first place. But because they're brave enough to get up there regardless of that anxiety, people think that they must never be anxious. You know what I mean? So it's not that they're faking it. right? Just because I just heard like, oh, so it's like fake it till you make it. No, 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 no. Often they would never even deny having anxiety. Quite the opposite, maybe. But maybe people just don't know about it. And because they are so brave and willing enough and able to hold their composure just to get up there and do it, people assume that that's not there, but that's their presumption. An underestimation of someone else's strength, truly. Betray. We're not doing reversals. So there's something here about, yeah, being mindful of the company you keep. Poison, because not everybody's good for you. Releasing harmful, destructive people, divergence, different values, changes of the heart, thought manipulation. And like I said, there was an emphasis also on these people trying to put out fear tactics or like scare people, make them anxious. Right? Don't do things or go near people that you know are not good for you. You do not drink the poison. You certainly don't go to their little Kool-Aid party. Especially when it pertains to a karmic female or anybody trying to keep divine masculine away from his divine feminine. In other cases, I do know that there have been people who've actually wanted to straight up legitimately poison, unfortunately. Do something gross to their food, make them sick, even like try to drug them. Be mindful. But love at first sight. So this is a deep connection. I also feel like it's not so much love at first sight. Yes and no. It's past life recognition. It's lovers who were, there it is, meant to be together and are called back together. Even if it took them some time to come together, even if they had to clear through some obstacles to do so, there it is. Yep. And so he's coming to her to communicate. And there are messages between them about releasing, right? I saw this behind it, banishing any toxic energies in each of their lives, let alone those that were trying to keep them apart or cause them any degree of separation. See, they're walking away from these people and situations. Yeah. Saying goodbye to anybody that tries to hold them back or hinder their freedom and movement, that tries to interfere. They would rather be alone or in the company of each other than with the wrong people. I'll stop the world and melt with you. I heard. He says, I would rather be alone with you than anybody else, especially if they're not good for us. Yeah. Oh, look. There it is. I just got chills. And there's, it's like he's watching over them, protecting mother and child. Oh, I could almost cry. Romeo. Aw. Yeah, see, there's love here. I just got chills again. I'm going to drop that mic right here. Not the whole mic, but on this one, on this deck. That's what he wants. It's face to face. Here, I Can Calm You Down. It's out of Dunno by Mac Miller. And so this is a connection that brings each other peace. They have the ability to help heal each other, relax each other. I hear we do it for everybody else. Why can't we do it for each other? It's divine masculine. A divine masculine saying that. He says, you love me, I love you, and the world will be a happier place. Oh, that's cute. I also hear something about teaching people how to love. He's saying that their love will show people what real love looks like. Yeah, purify, to stop settling. Also, just by example, yeah, be honest with yourself. They'll be able to tell the difference by looking at real love from fake toxic karmic love, or be able to more easily discern. Look, rewrite your story. I'll stop the world and melt with you. It's like Little Mermaid getting her voice back. They'll be able to recognize a divine masculine, what a divine masculine looks like based on this divine masculine in comparison to a karmic male or an F-boy, Judas, basically. They'll be able to, by looking at divine feminine, real divine feminines, this is also why these karmics wanted to try to bury or isolate the light workers. They'll be able to look at a real divine feminine and tell, just by looking at a karmic, that she's a Jezebel. And so basically they'll learn discernment through having a better example, a positive example. They will inspire the world, these lovers. Here they already are, really. Whether they're together quite yet or not. Let's pause for just a moment. Cheers. If each time I thought of you were a flower, I could walk through my garden forever. So this divine masculine is saying, I think about you all the time. All the time. Okay? Love does not know about yesterday and tomorrow. It is always new, right? So every day they choose each other. Love is, wow, okay. Love is like a rosebud. It may reach full blossom or it might die softly. So basically, if you neglect the connection, divine masculine, then, well, there will be none. But if you choose to nurture it and actually spend time with it, spend time nurturing it, happiness is finding love through giving love rather than receiving it. So if this divine feminine pulled back, it's because she was feeling like it was non-reciprocal energy. So in this case, he's being called to step forward and do the communication. You see how he's come to her? She was just sitting down with a crown on her head, with a bird in her hand, like Snow White, like Belle from Beauty and the Beast, like Cinderella. And he's come to her to communicate. Queens don't chase, darling. That's how the crown falls off. But you see, look at this, the roses, and he's coming through like her knight or king in shining armor here. And he also may be bringing a support network. I picked this up in a reading a day or two ago with him, all nurturing her. And it's like the rose from Beauty and the Beast, you see? She makes him feel like his knight kind of warrior demeanor. There's nothing wrong with him. Was ingrained in him as part of his contract to protect and nurture and love her. And also possibly children, but they also heal and nurture her inner children. It's giving like the prince realizes he's not the beast people thought he was. And in the Beauty and the Beast movie, he wasn't actually a beast. He was cursed. He was wounded. It was a wicked witch who cast a spell on him, and that's what made him shapeshift into that. But true love also made him transform back into a softer, more authentic version of himself, inside and out. I'm picking something about Benjamin Button. Reiki as well coming through. So there's healing and regeneration happening here. But look, the rose. This is a rose. It's a little hard to see on screen right now, but mostly because the glitter is reflecting it. But it is a rose with a pearl in the center. And then the roses. roses. That one's a lily, but you see. Let's do one more out of this. Thank you. Last one, please. Last one, please. No. Should we read all those? All right. I said one, but all right. For hearing my thoughts, understanding my dreams, and being my best friend, for filling my life with joy, and for loving me without end, I do. So this is why he wants to commit to her. Yeah, he doesn't like that they're in separation. It makes him feel cold. It's better to have loved and lost than never to have loved at all. But he says that she sparks some kind of passion within him. I'm hearing something about she took his fear of rejection as a lack of interest in her. Well, that's a problem. He needs to sort that out. He says that's why I need to come communicate. Well, where there is love, there is life. Exactly. Exactly. Looks like a passion flower. Tony used to tell me that they reminded him of me. Mr. T. Strongest emotion is often expressed, in silence. He was afraid of rejection and she thought he wasn't interested. You see how she's in the light and he's still kind of shrouded it a little bit in shadow with his knight armor. He kind of blends into the background, but there's an emphasis of him being able to tap into that side to protect her. And maybe he was made to feel like there was something wrong with him as a result of this. I hear, welcome to my dark side. Ooh. Right. Bishop Briggs. But you see her light is actually reflecting off of his armor. It's illuminating him too. So it's starting to light up. And he can take that armor off with her to a degree, but also part of what others tried to make him feel bad for being, it was part of how God designed him so that he could do his job as her masculine. And also that inherent draw to do so, it's because it's in his soul contract. He has this inherent feeling like he needs to protect her, and he has this demeanor about him that gives him the inclination and the ability to do so, that makes him perfect for the job. I hear like a bodyguard or a bouncer, even spiritually speaking. I picked this up last night too, like standing over her shoulder. It's like he's standing over her shoulder and people are afraid to mess with her just because he's standing next to her or right behind her. I hear that he's giving her more confidence in this too. Yeah. There's something about, I didn't make this up, a quote, a meme, something about the confidence, the elevated confidence of a queen. Like she's afraid of nothing when she knows who stands behind her or beside her, which is a real king, emperor. So it's just a choice. It's a blank card. It's a choice. I don't usually read those. A bunch of them popped out the other day too. I didn't read those either, but he just has to choose, north node or south node. Are you picking your divine feminine? Are you picking love or no? Love is like a rosebud. It may reach full blossom or it might die softly. But this is the thing, is if you neglect the connection, that's when it dies. If you don't communicate, if you don't come through, if you just put it on hold. Roses are very finicky. They like enough sunlight, but not too much. They like enough water, but not too much. They like warm enough temperature, but not too much, and can't be cold. They're very finicky. If the soil is not just right, either not enough nutrients or it's pH imbalanced, they won't like it. They don't grow right, or they won't grow at all. So is there anything wrong with the rose? Right? What if there's somebody who's just not good at gardening, or whether this be towards divine masculine or feminine, or they don't know what they're doing in gardening. And they want a rose bush in their garden, but they don't have the proper setup for it. Maybe they need to plant it in a place that has more sun and they plant it in the shade. And then they get mad at the rose bush for not growing, or they claim it's, whatever greenhouse they bought it from, they claim it's a defective plant, when really they're just not giving it what it needs to grow or thrive. You do not berate the flower for being unable to grow, and at this point I'm not talking about flowers anymore. You seek to see what in his or her environment is inhibiting his or her growth, right? Flowers grow with rain, not thunder, right? So like yelling at somebody or being nasty to somebody is not going to help them. Quite the opposite, in fact. Okay, it only takes a second to say I love you, but it takes a lifetime to show how much. And love is an angel disguised as lust. So in this case, yes, there are plenty of situations where people will just confuse lust with love, but in this case, this is a real soul connection. There is love between them, but because this is a, look, ancestrally blessed and kissed divine connection, so that's what that is. There is this fiery chemical attraction between them, but it's not just based on lust. There is a passionate, loving soul connection between them. And that's what draws them together. It's a heart-centered energy. And also, in a number of cases, some of the twins are meant to come together and have babies. There are spirit babies that have been on the interim of coming through. And so if God wants the counterparts to have a baby, of course God's going to put an attraction in their heads, in their hearts for each other, right? You can have lust without love, but when you have real love, you can also have lust. You can be super attracted to your partner, but it's not just lust at that point. It's chemistry rooted in love. I'm a demisexual, actually. And so some people may resonate with this. What that means is that unless you are mentally and emotionally connected with somebody, you can't really, you're not attracted or you're not interested in them physically. You're not interested. Like if you don't feel safe enough to open up that way, then you don't. And so it takes a special person. It takes the right person. And I'm not talking about somebody who tries to force and manufacture themselves to look like the right fit to the missing puzzle piece in your life, so to speak. Perceptively speaking. I mean those that are genuinely divinely contracted, not those who try to destiny swap and masquerade as something they're not. We've seen that. I mean those who are divinely aligned together, truly. Right. Why are the phrases goodbye, I'm sorry, and I love you so easy to pronounce and so hard to say? So he needs to come to her and communicate. He says, my silence is what got me in trouble, right? See, we're both communicators, and what got me in trouble, he says, was I didn't communicate. Yeah, well, at least he gets it, right? Okay. Love has no limits and no regrets. So take that leap of faith, Divine Masculine. Yeah, see? They're on the same wave. Third eye to third eye. Love does not know about yesterday and tomorrow. It is always new. So take that leap of faith, fresh start. See, he was, I believe, on this reindeer in another card, but now she's with him. But all he had to do was reach out and ask her to come or go collect her with love. Look, 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 look. What did I say? The love we have is God's gift to us, but what we do with it is our gift to God. So choose love. Stop being afraid to go towards the person that God has been calling towards you or sending you towards. In this case, in some cases, I've been picking up these divine masculines have been waiting for divine feminine to come back through or communicate, and especially if he fumbled that ball, then she's not going to. Queens don't chase. That's how the crown falls off. He needs to come communicate with her. There it is. He needs to come communicate with her. If you love yeah, right? Right. Divine feminine said, well, if you don't want to come communicate. If you want to play games, then I'll just, you know, let you do your thing. I'll just talk to God. And but he's coming back and crying, whoops, crying to her. Maybe not literally, maybe because she was just giving the situation to God, and he said, I'm so sorry that, you know, I made you think I didn't care, or that I seemed to fumble this connection. I see that you let go because you weren't trying to force me or trap me. You just, if I wasn't interested, I wasn't interested. So please forgive me. Can we make this good? I never want to be apart. I was so sad to be without you. Those look like morning glories, maybe? Wow. Okay. Look, last one. Love changes everything. Days are longer, words mean more, joy is more intense, pain is deeper, and love can turn your world around, and that world will forever last. Will last forever. And you see, underneath his royal king's cloak, he's got that armor because he's really a knight, and she is, it's like a burning flame. She's handing him, they're handing it to each other. This burning flame, this passion of love. You know what this is also reminding me of, right? Maybe he felt like he was in his cold energy. Okay. It's reminding me of this. Okay, so it's like she's handing him love. She's reigniting the spark in his heart, passing the torch, or vice versa. But they light each other up. Also, did you know that this, if you do this upside down, it makes a heart, an upside down heart? Some people will die for love while others will die because they've lost it, right? So, look, see, that spark in his heart started to die out, it looks like, when he felt like he was losing her, when he felt like he lost her. He tried to regrow it, re-nurture himself, but they help each other. They relight, reignite the spark in each other's heart. And there's also a level of creativity, making something out of nothing. Okay, this, right? If I hadn't done this, I would have thrown out all that wax that was dispersed just a little bit amongst those last couple of candles. Not enough to burn in each one anymore, but enough to make a whole new candle. And the amount of wax that would have gone in the trash, which I won't do, obviously, is the same amount of wax that's left in this one that has been more full now. So that's like having another one of those when they were presumably seemingly otherwise empty jars. But they're not. Not when you add up and calculate that. I'm picking up a parallel from the candle to the heart to love. Anything else? I heard that. This was a good reading. This really helps me. I'm so glad. You're so very welcome. Yeah, I heard that. I'm sad to hear that you've been having a difficult time. I'm happy to help, though. I thought you didn't care. No, I do. I just had to put my battle armor back on for a little bit, and it's kind of hard to be my full self when I do that, you know. It's hard to be yourself when you're dissociating in shell shock. But you know, I'm here. Ooh, there's a karmic crying. Interesting. Just got chills too. Alright, I think I'm going to drop the mic right there. Please remember to pray. Do no harm. Take no crap. And I will catch you on the next one. 55 on the timer, on the count. Blessings and namaste. Doodles.